Sorry about that. It just cut off again, and then I had to do a whole bunch of stuff to my phone to even get that previous video to upload. So I don't know if this is a sign to stop talking or a sign to keep talking. So I'll wrap it up. What I was trying to say with the images and things like that, if I said to you, picture me standing on a stage wearing a red dress and holding a bunch of yellow flowers, you would get a vague picture in your mind of that. It wouldn't be crystal clear, maybe it would, but you would generally, the visions come much like the way if you're just daydreaming and something, but it's something that I'm not thinking about that just kind of flashes into my head. That inner voice that voice that you expect to be hearing loud and clear, I missed it for so long because it was my voice, but it talks differently than when it's my personality voice and that monkey mind chattering away. It's a different conversation, but it's my own voice. So for many of you out there that have said that you don't receive messages and have those sorts of not abilities but experiences, I would ask you to reconsider with the thought that it all comes from inside of you, not outside of you, and it can be very much overlooked or mistaken as your own thoughts or own things. But I always know when it's not me, because I'm often not that smart to come up with a lot of the things that I will hear, and sometimes it's a whisper. It for me, sometimes it's like hearing a conversation in another room. You can catch glimpses of what's being said, but you're not hearing it loud and clear like a conversation that we're having now. So yeah, don't discount yourself thinking that you're not receiving it. Perhaps I would say there's every chance that you are, but just not in ways that you've identified as communication yet. So take it or leave it. I'm just saying, I do firmly believe that we all have these abilities, and some are just working more consciously with them than others at this time. That simple. I did want to share with you one last thing, and it was this aha moment that I had when it comes to manifesting, and why a lot of people talk about the law of attraction but say it doesn't really work for them. And it was one weekend we went for a family drive up to a local dam. It's about half an hour away. It's got like just a picnicky area. It's right in the bush. And first time I'd been there, and first time the little one had been there. And anyway, when we were there, we happened to see a goanna. Almost as soon as we got out the car, we heard a noise and looked over the fence, and there it was. And she got really excited. And we also happened to see another one after saying, I wonder if we'll see another one in a completely different spot, just sitting there like, hello, yep, here I am. And anyway, it was just a beautiful day. She got really excited. I always love connecting with any form of wildlife, even the ones that I'm afraid of. In their natural habitat. It just feels, for me, it's like a privilege that they could run away, but they choose to be present there at the time. So for me, it's always a special moment when it happens spontaneously and in nature itself, in the wild. And anyway, a couple of weeks later, we decided to go for another drive back there. And my little one calls the goannas manners, although I have to say over time it's evolved to go manners. But on the drive there, she got really excited at the thought that we might see them again, and she was, talking about it. And I said, maybe if you call out to them and tell them we're coming and that you'd like to say hello to them, maybe they'll be there. And as we're driving along, I just had this random thought that it would be so nice if we were to see a goanna again, because she really had such a great experience with it, and it warmed my heart to see her having such a wonderful experience with nature, and I enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it as well, and just that, it was just a beautiful experience, individually and as a family. So anyway, I just had that brief thought, I really hope we see another one. I didn't think anything more of it. We're driving up there, we get out, we walk around, we didn't see any. And I felt a momentary sort of pang of disappointment, but not disappointment. I don't know if that makes sense. And just thought, oh, well, not today. And then just as we were about to get back to the car, and we were the only people there that day, I happened to just look up, and there was this enormous goanna sitting right near the car and looked at me as if like, well, you wanted to see me, here I am. And my daughter got so excited, and we have to stop her running up to them. She's not yet aware that they could get a fright and think of her as a tree and do some real damage. She just wants to go up and touch them. But yeah, we all got really excited, especially because we didn't think, we didn't think we were going to see one. And, she took a photo and everything. And then we were driving away, and she was all happy and excited, and it was really nice. And it occurred to me later that that's what manifestation is. And whether we're manifesting things that we want or we don't want, it often happens so subtly that we don't realize that that's what we're in fact doing. And the problem with the way a lot of people, myself included in the past, have tried to manifest is it's usually manifesting a thing, an item, whether that be money, a house, a car, and it's usually coming from a place of not having it and feeling that if we had it, it would make our life better in some way, make us happier. So it's a very mental way of manifesting. And then we're told to feel gratitude for it like you already have it, which instantly, one, you can't force yourself to feel anything, I don't think. You can, you can do things that help you feel differently, but you cannot force yourself to feel other than what you feel in that moment. So generally, it's a feeling of not having, doubt that it will come, fear that it won't, that you won't have it, all of these things. And as we've talked about previously, it's the thought plus the emotional charge that generates that point of attraction of what you're going to bring back. So you can try and convince yourself that you're feeling gratitude and tell yourself you are, and your brain will tell you that you are, but your heart doesn't lie. And so for me, it was so simple. It was like, that's the key to manifesting. If you're in your heart space all the time, and I'm not saying that that I am, I try to be, but I do have moments where I slip, and but when we're in our heart space, our thoughts seem to just be aligned with good. For me, when I'm in my heart space, I'm not fearful. I'm not doubting the future. I'm not, everything just feels good in that moment, and I'm happy with it. So when we were driving there, the thought of wanting to see the goannas again and my heart were both aligned, because my heart wanted it because it was such a beautiful, and for me, an honor. And also because my heart felt so good seeing my daughter have such a beautiful experience. So I had the thought from this emotion in my heart, but then I wasn't attached to it. I didn't spend the whole trip going, we better see a goanna, we better see a goanna, we better see a goanna. And then when we didn't see one, like there was that momentary pang of sort of like, I had hoped we would, but I wasn't going, the day's ruined because we didn't see one. I wasn't attached to the outcome of having it manifested because I wasn't even thinking of manifesting. And I think that's the key. It is that subtle. So when, at any point in time, this is why we need to be aware of our thoughts. And I'm not saying that's easy. I am gaining mastery of my thoughts, but I'm certainly not there yet. And this is why I realized the other day why there needs to be this delay in and not instant manifestation on the earth plane. Even in its 4-dimensional energy, I suppose, if you want to call it that, which is where we are, because we're in the process of anchoring the fifth, but we're not quite there yet. We all seem to slip in and out of it. I mean, I'm sure there's some that hold it consistently, but I'm pretty sure they're living remotely and not really engaging in the real world too much. And if they are, please contact me because I really want to know your secrets. But I think I believe I'm at the stage now where my soul self is generally captaining the ship at least 50% of the time. And I am more conscious of my thoughts, but I'm certainly not a level of mastering them. And in that moment, I realized, wow, if we were to suddenly be in a state where we manifest instantly, there are times that without meaning to, my unawareness of catching my thoughts quick enough would lead to me creating havoc on this world. If some of those thoughts that I had manifested into something that represented them instantly, so yeah, thank goodness there is that delay. It is getting reduced, and we are seeing, in some cases, instant manifestation. So this is why it's so important to be aware of our thoughts, and as much as we can, live in our hearts, because then we don't have to worry so much that our thoughts are going to be attracting not so good stuff just because we've let them get away with us. So yeah, it was pretty much, the good manifestation happens when we're in our hearts, our thoughts are impulsed by the love that's in our heart, and we don't have attachment. We acknowledge the thought, yes, that would be a wonderful experience to have in my life, but we let go of the attachment to it happening. And it's almost like in the letting go, we receive. It's just this beautiful dance that we do with energy. And when the stuff doesn't feel so good, it's not that we've done it wrong. We've just done it perhaps unconsciously. And this is our opportunity to say, okay, and how can I do it more consciously? How can I make sure I'm in that space where I'm gladly welcoming everything it is that manifests from my emotions and my thoughts? Because I'm not welcoming everything just yet. I really just want to say, I don't want to come across in any way like I'm trying to teach on anything, like I'm an authority on anything. I really do feel like I'm a classmate, and it's my turn to share. And I really love hearing your experiences as well. It's very comforting to know that others have similar struggles at times, experience similar pains. I don't wish them on anyone, but you know what I mean. It can feel very lonely and very confusing at times, especially when there's not always people around us to offer clear insight, and especially stuff that resonates. There's a lot out there, and not all of it will or should resonate with each of us, and that's why discernment is really important, and that's something I'm not always good at. Well, when I say that, I'm not always good at discerning what's good for myself. So I will at times struggle with doing what I know to be right, and how that still looks to the people around me. And I think that's something we can all relate to a little bit. It's, yeah, one of those things, it's a fine line to walk, but it will get easier. And I think the more we can stay in our hearts and let that energy guide our thoughts and those impulses, then yeah, it won't really matter too much what others think we should do when we know for ourselves what is right for us. So anyway, before this cuts off and I start just rambling, I hope that helps. I feel these energies that are coming in tomorrow, I don't feel they're going to be super, super intense. I do feel like we're going to be given some sort of respite to just integrate and sit with this space that's been created. But I don't think things will quiet down completely. So anyway, I hope to talk to you soon about that in more detail. But yeah, I hope you've all coped with the last 10 days or so. It's been pretty intense. We've been letting go of a lot. And yeah, that can just leave us feeling a bit strange afterwards. So I hope you're doing okay, and that some of what I've said has made sense and helped in some way. And if not, that's fine. That's completely fine too. Know that I'm sending you all big heart hugs, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye.